they let you know what we did. And what you can relate.
It's just what you want.
The setup of Carolina requires I'm not aware.
It's in front of her house, but
That I don't.
I think it was, I think it's what her boy was telling me. So Ranlo
Tornado didn't take it away?
knew.
All the
Yeah,
officers
Kool-Aid
did,
story.
they went out and they reported that it wasn't on that thing.
What's that?
The officer, the main call, went out and called, made a report.
Right, maybe the report has already been entered, the system is stolen, so if anyone runs the tag or then.
Was it one of the Oxford pipes that they were stealing and so?
You got hot day.
Yeah.
This is key hot.
Randy,
Are you serious? Brandon?
I guess it's Randy, that's what I do.
That's messed up.
I knew the man, I think it's
It's-
a couple years old.
Was it couple years? Well, he said
In
it's
his
you
front
called.
yard.
Anytime you get two cars, you get,
Yes,
it's
you-
usually us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Stole
off
it
the
from
front
his
of her
yard.
house, what I understood.
Like my
Say-
Hyundai, listen, I mean,
Alright.
2014 was new. Let's bring this, meeting to order. Roll call.
Mayor Black,
Present.
Commissioner Moore,
Here.
Commissioner Dugmore,
Here.
Commissioner Laws,
Here,
Commissioner Connor.
Here,
Let's bow for invocation. Dear God, our Father in heaven, once again, we come before you with thanksgiving and praise. Town had a pretty scary storm the other week. We thank you, God, that there was no life lost in town. Thank you for the strength and resolve that we have to clean it up and restoring the town to its original purpose. And we pray, God, that as we have this meeting tonight, that we will make decisions that will be effective and good for the town as a whole. Give us your guidance, we pray, Lord. And in Jesus' name. All right, first item is adoption of the agenda. So we have a motion to adopt this agenda.
I make a motion to.
We have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right, so carried. Next item is a proclamation and recognition of Police Week. Ready to-
Yeah.
So we're looking at, whereas our nation depends upon local law enforcement as the first line of defense, and it's important for the people of Ranlo to know and understand the duties, responsibilities, and challenges of our law enforcement officers and agencies. And whereas in 1961, a joint resolution of Congress authorized the President to proclaim May 15th of each year as to be Peace Officers Memorial Day, which honors law enforcement officers who have been killed or disabled in the line of duty, and to proclaim the week of each year during which that date occurs as Police Week. And whereas the Ranlo Police Department provides a vital public service by acting as first responders in emergency and crisis situations, by investigating and solving crimes, by offering a variety of community services to individuals, local businesses, community organizations, and agencies, and to provide community services in a fair and professional manner. And now therefore, I, Lynn Black, Mayor of the town of Ranlo, do hereby proclaim the week of May 12th through May 18th, 2024 as Peace Officers Memorial Week, and May 15th, 2024 as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and joint law enforcement officers nationwide in commemorating their fallen comrades, and urge the citizens of Ranlo to recognize and honor law enforcement officers past and present. Be it furthermore resolved that the community of Ranlo acknowledge and appreciate the contributions made by their local law enforcement officers for handling the difficult situations they encounter daily as part of their jobs. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Ranlo to be affixed this 16th day of May in the year of our Lord 2024. All right. Set that to the board as a motion. I have
I'll make a motion.
I'll second. All in favor? So carried. All right. And also proclamation recognizing the town of Ranlo's Public Works Department. I would also like to resolve whereas public works professionals provide our community with integral services such as protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, solid waste systems. Any Hamlet maneuvers? You okay?
You can.
All right. Our solid waste systems, public buildings, other structures and facilities, aiding public health, quality of life, and well-being of the people of Ranlo. And whereas without the work of public work professionals who are dedicated managers and employees at all levels of government and of the private sector, the town of Ranlo's infrastructure, facilities, highly important services could not be provided. And whereas it is in the public interest of the residents and civic leaders in Ranlo to gain knowledge of and maintain an interest in the vital work of public works professionals and the public works program in our community. And whereas the year of 2024 marks the 64th annual National Public Works Week sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canada Public Works Association, be it now resolved. I, Lynn Black, Mayor of the town of Ranlo, do hereby designate the week May 19th through 25th, 2024 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with representatives of the American Public Works Association and government agency in activities, events, and ceremonies designed to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health and safety and advancing quality of life for all. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the town of Ranlo to be affixed this 16th day of May in the year of our Lord 2024. Do I have a motion?
I'll make such a motion.
I'll second it. We have a second. All in favor? So be carried.
Mr. Mayor, may I just ask that we give a round of applause for our police and public works, police this week in public works.
All right. Okay, next item is the recreation, recognition of medical center pharmacy.
Yeah, I can take this one. Is anybody here from Medical Center Pharmacy? Anybody here for that? I was asked to put this on the agenda. Earlier this week, we had I believe it was a stolen vehicle from one of our residents, and the resident in the car had a walker and was very concerned that she was not going to be able to move around and continue to walk around. So when we had a conversation, I think it was Chief Lunsford had a conversation with Medical Center Pharmacy. They actually felt so inclined to just donate one and give one to our Ranlo residents. So I wanted to bring up publicly and just kind of let it be known that Medical Center Pharmacy went above and beyond and is going to donate a walker to one of our residents who is in desperate need of it, who lost it by obviously bad reason. But just wanted to say thank you to Medical Center Pharmacy for thinking of our residents here in Ranlo and being so kind. So thank you to Medical Center Pharmacy.
Okay, thank you. Do we have any comments from attendees? Somebody signed up?
Okay.
Old business, adoption of the April 11th, 2024 regular meeting minutes of the board.
I'll make a motion to adopt them. April 8 minutes.
All right, have a second.
Second.
All right, all in favor? So carried. Item 8, staff follow-up on the concession stand discussion.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I'll take this one if that's okay. So as I was guided last month, I know we had a conversation about the town's concession stand. So I reached out to a gentleman at Gaston County Department of Health and Human Services to get some more information as I was directed. And here's kind of the summary of the information that was brought to me. So if the concession stand is to be open, not necessarily getting into the conversation of who is in charge of it, if it's going to be a town event or if it's a private event, but if it's open, if it's to be open and to be used, if only prepackaged products, which include chips, candy, and drinks, are offered at the concession stand, then no permit is needed. The minute any kind of food that is prepared in any way, such as hot dogs, chili, hamburger, anything that's prepared, the concession stand would then need to be permitted. So if it is permitted, obviously there's a permit fee with Gaston County. The guidance here is that we would have to submit the application for the permit. We would have to be inspected twice a year. This gentleman would actually come out and check it before the permit's even written. The inspector would then show up randomly when operating and inspect the facility. And then also it says you would need a person in charge, or PIC, that is a certified food manager. The person has 210 days after you are issued the permit to obtain that certificate before any points are deducted. But not only does the concession stand need to have an established person in charge, PIC, but that person must be there at all times of operation while the concession stand is going. If there is a private party, they are not required to have a permit. So like, for example, if someone wants to just come and use our facilities, private parties do not require a permit so long as they are not charging money for food. But if you are permitted and you allow them to use your facility to cook and prep food, whoever is designated as the person in charge must be there to supervise anyone using the facility. So I know that's a lot of information kind of fire hosed at you, but that's essentially the update from Gaston County that I was directed to go gather information about what we would need, or essentially what the permit requirements or regulatory requirements would be for that concession stand. So that's all I have to report on that, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Let you, did they have a number on the price
For the permit,
for the permit?
I think it was 75, but don't quote me on that. I can go back and check that number for you. I was really just looking into some of the logistics of it all.
All righty, and ball season's open in next month, right? March.
You talking about for T-ball?
First.
For T-ball? Yeah, so that was actually the next item on the agenda. If you want to take us there, I'm happy to give everybody an update.
All right, staff update on YMCA for membership and T-ball.
Yeah, so perfect segue there, Mr. Mayor. So obviously our T-ball league is about to get started. I think actually practice will start next Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm happy to report that even I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we were at full capacity, and there was actually a waiting list, which obviously is not good, but I think they've added more teams. But all in all, good to say that we did have a huge interest here in Ranlo, and there will be a full field out here this summer, full of, like I said, U5, which will be 5 and under T-ball, U7, which will be coach pitch for 5 and 6 year olds. But we have a full roster that will be here, and the Y will run that. And then kind of to parlay that into the YMCA corporate membership. So we were directed, or staff was directed, to go ahead and move forward to offer the corporate memberships to our staff. We got that all buttoned up. We actually had a representative from the YMCA come out here and host an on-site sign-up. So we had our folks come and get signed up, and now our folks, our staff, are getting that 75% discounted rate at the YMCA. So I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of everybody for that. I know that was much appreciated, and we got a lot of folks that are signed up and already using it. So just want to make sure you guys knew that.
What did the staff do that did not sign up?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
What would the staff need to do that did not have opportunity to sign up?
Yeah, so the good news was there's an option to do it online. We have a sheet that basically says you go to this website. We have like a code, if you will, for the town of Ranlo's discount. So anybody at any time, like I think I still need to do it because I've been just wrapped up in this. I still need to sign up, my wife and I. There's a code that you can put in on the website. It will discount that on the website. You can sign up online. You don't even have to go into person to sign up if you missed the sign up day.
Can you do that when you have to leave?
Of course you can. Absolutely. I haven't sitting on my notes.
Well, us commissioners didn't know about the sign up fee.
Okay. Yeah. I'll make sure that you have that information. Absolutely.
All right, we're through with that. Anything else? No. Next item is new business, presentation of 2024 and 2025 budget message. Go ahead.
I'll take it from here if that works. Awesome. So thank you, Mr. Mayor and Board. I'm very excited to be presenting my first budget here to the town of Ranlo. We've worked very diligently over the past several months putting this together. Obviously, I just started in January, so we had limited time frame to work with, but I'm very proud of the budget that we put forward. You have the document in front of you, kind of timeline of this. What we'll do is I'll have this available here at Town Hall for any residents that want to come by and maybe want to take a look at it. Obviously, it'll get posted out to media here this month with the hopes that in June, what we'll do is have our public hearing on the budget message and then potentially, obviously, vote to adopt that budget, the recommended budget to go into July 1st to roll right into the new fiscal year. So what I'm going to do is just kind of walk right through it and kind of touch on some of the big highlights. So if you have it in front of you. As the town of Ranlo's budget officer and town manager, I'm pleased to present for your consideration the manager and staff's recommended budget for 24-25, which is known now as the recommended budget. The recommended budget is balanced at $5,004,150, which consists of a general fund budget of $2,984,200, a utility fund budget of $1,868,950, a power bill fund budget of $91,000, a stormwater fund budget of $60,000. And if you want to take a look there, you can see on page 5 the breakdowns by departmental expenditures that will show our administration, governing body, recreation, police, public works, sanitation, non-departmental, all within the general fund. You can see over to the right of that our utility fund expenditures that include admin and engineering, our water and sewer departments as well as non-departmental. And then on the bottom there, you will see our stormwater expenditures as well as our power bill expenditures. So you have seen this before, but those are the numbers there. As I go into kind of my narrative here on the backside, what I've kind of tagged here is obviously what I've been saying since I got here, which is momentum, 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 right? So we've come into this budget year with our first budget prioritization meeting where the board, we all sat down and kind of took a look at the big picture items, right? We started our discussion around not necessarily focusing on some of the stuff that might be down in the weeds, but some of these bigger picture items and themes, if you will, on how to build essentially what's going to be the strategic vision to give and well-equipped staff to help guide the budget in that direction to start, faithfully executing some of that stuff. One thing that we know that we're very good at is securing outside funding, right? We know that we excel in bringing in grant money. One of the things that's going to be a big focus this year is the second monumental feat, which is going to be the faithful execution of that, right? It's obviously amazing that it's a good problem to have when we're talking about having all this grant money. It's also going to be a large challenge to make sure that we're managing all these simultaneous projects, whether it be at the state level, at the federal level. We have state money, federal money, all with different compliance requirements, reporting deadlines, but we're excited to crush that this year and make sure that we're focused up on that. So one of the things I obviously did when we went into this budget year was take a look at some of our old maybe like redundancies and things. We kind of did a little bit of cleanup in some of the public works department staff side, just cleaning up some salary things. We identified during our budget prioritization meeting some of the several themes that we're seeing, such as public safety, roads and infrastructure, and some of our aging facilities and buildings. One of the biggest changes that you will see, and I should have mentioned in the beginning too, all of our projected revenues and numbers are working through looking at what Gaston County has sent us for projections for the reevaluation that we know happened based on year-to-date actuals and just basically to help better equip us in looking at past audits to see what we are expecting for projected revenues. But because we are in a good spot with that, what I have included in this year's budget is for a new patrol officer for the police department. So as you know, or you may not know, our police department is currently running below the International Association of Chiefs of Police standard for officers per resident. What I mean by that is that if you have X amount of residents in your town, you should have, in theory, Y amounts of officers per resident. And we're currently running below what that standard is. And even in my short time here in Ranlo, we've seen a tornado. We saw a catastrophic storm come in here that required 24/7 response from the town. And to be completely honest, we've been unfortunately seeing some of the heartbreak and sadness with the loss of the officers in some of our neighboring jurisdictions here last month. I think public safety is a pillar of a municipality to provide a strong public safety, so increasing our police department with another officer helps us to provide a more robust public safety output for our residents. And I also should have mentioned at the beginning too that this year's budget does not include a tax increase. So the tax rate will still be exactly the same. And this new officer is also being done without a tax increase to the Ranlo residents. As you're aware, the town of Ranlo is a purchase system for our water and sewer utilities. This simply means that we purchase water from Two Rivers, which is at the city of Gastonia, as well as we have to pay to have our wastewater treated. We don't have any plants here. This fiscal year, Two Rivers has voted and has approved increasing their utility costs by 7.5% for water and 7.5% for sewer. Before I give any recommendations, I want to just acknowledge, because we had Rural Water come in and do a rate study for us, because we know that if, as a purchase system, if Two Rivers goes up 7.5% in water, up 7.5% in sewer, that our expenditures for water purchased and sewer purchased are also going to go up. We know it's going to increase by 7.5%. So when we had Rural Water come in here, help us with a rate study to take a look at what it would mean to offset that cost. They let us know that if we don't make any current water and sewer rate changes, if we operate July 1st, 2024, which is when the Two Rivers rate increases are effective, after 5 years, we'd be running at a $256,000 deficit. That doesn't include the cost of inflation and depreciation or the cumulative addition, which would be estimated to be at an $816,000 deficit in 5 years if we don't do anything about it. On a personal note, and I've included this in the budget message, just in the spirit of honesty and transparency with not only the board but the residents of Ranlo, please understand that it's not my goal or want to ever increase rates. I know it's not a popular thing. It's not something I'm looking forward to. But I was selected by this board to provide the town with sound business knowledge and advice, and in that stance, I am unwavering and steadfast. I have a responsibility to sustain this organization, and without any change to our billing rates, our enterprise fund would cease to exist. At that point, we wouldn't be able to provide water and sewer, or frankly, run a functioning government. So for the reasons listed, what I have recommended that the town does is increase our water and sewer rates without increasing our tax rate to the following structure, based on the rate study that we received. A 3.25% increase in water rates and a 3.25% increase in sewer rates effective July 1st, 2024. Based on that study, this will allow us to not operate at a deficit during year one, and then we can take a look at what the actuals look like after this fiscal year to see if that increase sustained what we knew the then cost of operating costs and purchasing water and sewer was going to look like. This allows us to not operate at a deficit in our enterprise fund. And also, just a quick note, and I'm sure you know this, but just a reminder, it's important to note that our enterprise fund or our utility fund must be run separately from our general fund. So for example, if the money cannot be transferred over from the general fund, this has to exist as its own enterprise fund. So if we had a surplus at the end of the year in the general fund, we cannot use that to cover any deficit incurred by the enterprise fund. Also worth noting that this does not include if there is another rate increase from Two Rivers down the road at some point. So when I had mentioned we would be operating not at a deficit and be able to sustain operations at any point, in theory, Two Rivers could increase their cost of business again, and we would have to continue to have this conversation. And I also want to just point out, this is not in the budget message, but just important for the visibility for people listening, for people at home, for you as the board, for anybody here. that it's not apples to apples when you hear 7.5%. So like, for example, and you may know this, so forgive me if I'm just being redundant, but a 7.5% increase is going to increase our expenditures by that much. But if we did a 7.5% increase to water and sewer, it's actually going to generate too much revenue because it's going to impact every tier and every rate. So it's not just as simple as if they're going up 7.5%, we go 7.5%. So if maybe in your head the red flag went off, well, hang on, they're doing 7.5%, but why are we just doing 3.25? We need to do 7.5 to 7.5. It's because those expenditure costs go up, but that's just the percent of the total that we spend to purchase. If we go 7.5% on the billing rate for each category, that's actually going to create way more revenue than we necessarily need to. So instead of doing 7.5% for each, we can do 3.25 for each, and it would still get us exactly at the same point operating cost wise that we are this year. Just want to make sure that was out there in the world to hear. So the recommended budget also seeks to ensure that the town is positioned to continue to maintain the operational needs of our departments. Obviously, we know that everything is increasing, cost of labor, materials, you name it, everything has gone up and continues to. So the 24-25 expenditures include a $12,500 increase for new trash cans. We need to buy more trash cans. The town of Ranlo is running nearly into the end of our current inventory of trash cans. And obviously the ability to effectively collect trash is a pillar of a clean and healthy community. This purchase also allows us to guarantee that we will have cans for residents in the coming years. The budget also includes roughly $13,000 increasing to our operating costs of our police department within different line items. So this includes the increased cost of firearms and ammunition. We have some outdated equipment like vests that need to get replaced. We have some other outdated stuff. So all these increases, again, without increasing the tax rate and with the current numbers that you see, all built in to this budget. And the crucial increases to our operating costs come with no tax rate, like I said, and provide staff with the essential equipment to continue to provide what we consider a very high level of service here in Ranlo. Next, the recommended budget has been drafted to maneuver through necessary updates to our fee schedule. So for example, our current water meter fee is $250 if you have new construction and put a new water meter in town. The only thing about that is in the past year, obviously, we had $1 million in grant money that we spent to go and update all of our water meters. So we now have fancy new water meters that are all electronically connected. They work from our computers here. So like at any point, if someone has a water leak, even if it's Saturday in the middle of the night, you name it, we can go on a computer and turn off water from a remote location. So obviously it's been an incredible asset for us here at the town, but the cost of each of those meters is a little bit higher than the original meters when this fee schedule was put together. So that is going to go up, or at least what I proposed. So the current water meter fee is $250 for the new meter. That number obviously was based on the old meters that do not have the electronic capability. The proposed fee for our new meters will now be $700. And then we will continue to look at if that is exactly the right number, but that's what we propose at least as of now, which will allow us to support development and continued growth. Worth mentioning, if someone comes in and buys, a bunch of land and wants to put 1,000 meters in, hypothetically, we would not be collecting the money enough back to be able to pay for all those meters the way that the current fee schedule is set up. So that's why that's included in there. So in conclusion, and I'm happy to field questions after this, the recommended balanced budget is prepared in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 15911. Financial forecasting revenue projections for the upcoming year were based on previous audits, actual trends, and annual projections from the North Carolina League of Municipalities. Our town, I'm proud to say, is the strongest financial position that it's seen in years. Obviously, much thanks to the past 4 years and correcting a lot of things that we had seen previously. And my goal is to keep it exactly that way, to keep us in strong financial standing and to keep this momentum that we've seen in securing state and federal money in confluence with our lean operating internal budgeting practices, that we're going to end up proving to be one of the strongest financial municipalities in the county. I intend it to be that way. So what we will do from here is obviously the public hearing will be scheduled to be held in our June regular meeting at the Ranlo Board of Commissioners here at Town Hall at 7 p.m. Any person wishing to make comments or ask questions is absolutely more than welcome to do so during that public hearing prior to what we will hope to be the adoption of the budget ordinance at that point during the June meeting. This recommended budget is going to be available for public review here at Ranlo Town Hall as of basically tomorrow when we get back into work during normal business hours, and we're going to post it on our town website, and it's also going to be sent to Gaston Gazette here in the upcoming days to make sure that it's posted. So I'm happy to walk through any of the line items if you'd like. I think I touched on some of the biggest items and biggest changes and changes since last year. But I'm happy to field any questions that you may have, board. But other than that, Mr. Mayor, that's all I have to say.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On this, it says that the proposed fee for our new members will now be $700. I thought it was said that the cost would be $580
Yes, ma'am. So that includes the labor cost of the person going out to install as well.
installed.
Yes, ma'am. Because that's we're not on a garbage truck or we're not picking up debris after a storm. Because that has an operating impact, that's what we include in there as well. Yes, ma'am.
So, update the police department is also in that budget, right?
So it is not because I put in the new officer. If the board wishes, I'm happy to try to make something work where we can put in some money to, and if you're referring to during the budget prioritization meeting when we established putting in some money to update this side, when I built in essentially the new officer and the associated costs that came with that, and talking with obviously Chief Lunsford, we prioritized that, but if the board sees different, I can absolutely
Well,
make something work.
That's what his priority was.
Yeah.
And he's okay working in those conditions. I think it's fine with the board, isn't it? Any other discussions? All right. So, let's move on to the next item, business. That's the discussion of consideration of the July regular meeting of the board date from July 11th to July 18th.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, I can take that one too as well. This is up for consideration. So in the week of the July board meeting, I was planning on being out of town for my annual family vacation back up in Virginia with my extended family. So I would just ask if we could move it to the week after and just cancel that original 11th and move it to the 18th. If the board does not see that as a good idea, I will absolutely be here and make sure that this meeting happens that day.
Make a motion to move the meeting to
July. We have a motion, second, all in favor? So carried. All right, next item is a discussion of vacant commissions.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, do you mind if I take that one too?
Yes.
So I will take the better part of the first part of this conversation. Our attorney, Mr. Tosco, may jump in if need be. So what I'll do is kind of state the obvious here, that obviously Commissioner Fowler is no longer here. He had asked me to read his resignation letter publicly, so to honor his request, I am going to read that. And then what we'll do, I think we'll need a motion to accept his resignation, and then Mr. Tosco and I will go into what the next steps are for the town and what it means to then fill that vacant board position. So Commissioner Fowler is obviously now not here. He has resigned. His effective resign date was yesterday. We're obviously very sad to see him go, but I do want to share his letter that he had asked me to share as his official resignation, so that this was on public record. This is now, I will start reading it. So this is now the letter. As some of you may know, my father passed last year. This has presented a life decision for me and my family. We have made the decision to relocate to Oklahoma to be closer to family. So effective May 15th, I will resign my seat on the Board of Commissioners. It has been an honor to serve the fine people of Ranlo. It is my heartfelt wish that I have served the people with integrity, transparency, and wisdom. Looking at my 5 years of serving with the board, we have tackled the town's financial issues that plagued the town then. We have went from losing over $300,000 annually to replacing the loss of the prior 4 years to adding substantial increases to the fund balance. This should almost ensure Ranlo is taken off of the unit assistance list. I am pleased that I will be leaving the town in a strong financial situation. I know this because we conducted the financial audits for the prior 4 years and have remained current each year since. We have passed financially responsible budgets each year as well. We have secured over $25 million in grants to repair our crumbling infrastructure. We have plans to repair and replace water lines, sewer lines, repair roads, and have upgraded parks and the lodge. We are currently progressing with a Ranlo Avenue extension that will open up our community's walkability and decrease response time in the event of emergencies. I am pleased I will be leaving Ranlo with the funds to modernize our infrastructure. In regards to public safety, we have fully funded the needs of our police officers and public works so they can safely do their jobs in serving the people of Ranlo. In regards to the administration of the town, we have upgraded to the software to help in the more efficient execution of the town's business, such as the smart meters, online bill payments, direct deposits, online presence, and other things. We also replaced the staff with people who are qualified for the positions that they hold. I am very satisfied in knowing that we have had great department heads who do their jobs with the utmost professionalism. We have had two of the best town managers in the county. Their results speak volumes to their dedication to the town. I also would like to take a second to give my most heartfelt thanks and gratitude to the elected officials I have had the privilege to serve alongside. Prior Commissioner Katie Cordell and Commissioners Doug Moore and Robin Connor. You guys truly serve to better the town with your vision of Ranlo's future. To prior Commissioner Locklear and Commissioners Laws and Morton, we may not have always agreed on things, but more often than not, we did. I wanted to say thank you because you guys have always treated me with respect and it was appreciated. Ranlo is far better off today than 5 years ago, and the next few years look promising. Under the right leadership, Ranlo's future is bright. Thank you to the people of Ranlo for allowing me this opportunity. Respectfully, Commissioner Jamie Fowler.
Do I have a motion to accept his resignation?
I make a motion that we accept.
Do I have a second?
I'll say.
All in favor? So carried.
Mr. Mayor, with that being said, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Diane Palmer to fill Mr. Fowler's position for the remainder of his term.
All right, we have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second, Robin Connor. All in favor? I have 2 fours against. 2 against. So I'll be the tiebreaker, I'll vote against.
I appreciate that. People tell me they was gonna vote and not vote. I appreciate that. Vote of confidence is great.
All right.
Not you, not you, not you, not you.
Any other motions?
And so what we can do now, if you'd like, is we can go into the potential ways that we can solicit nomination.
All right.
You want to take that, Mr.
Sure.
Chairman?
So the way state law works is that it does not spell out a specific process for filling the vacancy, and your charter also does not. It just says that the board is the one that fills the vacancy. Now, there is advice from the School of Government that the best way to fill the vacancy is through a nomination and ballot method. And there's 2 main reasons for that. One is there's a statute that says if you don't have a process laid out, it's the preference is to follow the rules of parliamentary procedure or Robert's Rules of Order. And Robert's Rules of Order says that the nomination and ballot method is the best way to do it. And that would involve essentially applicants or individuals who become nominees for it, stating their preferences for that, and then you all voting on a list of nominations. Or you could say anybody that applies is a nominee. It's your call on how you do that. Then you would vote on through a ballot on each of those, and that allows you to essentially work your way through the list of potential candidates rather than doing one motion on one individual and then you not knowing if there's going to be the majority on that one, etc. So that's the kind of preferred method for filling it. But of course, there's not a statute that says you have to do that. So if the will of the board is to do a motion and vote on a board or a filling the vacancy, that's of course allowed. But again, the preference and the advice of School of Government and Rules of Procedure is to do the nomination and ballot method.
And I think a timeline, and if I'm misspeaking, tell me, a reasonable timeline I think that could be suggested would be from now until the June meeting to go out and seek individuals who may be interested, because it will be the board who gives nominations at the June meeting, to see who may be interested, in becoming a board member, then what we would essentially do during the June meeting is open the floor for nominations. The board could then nominate, I think, as many essentially as you see fit. We would then close the floor for nominations, allow anybody who is interested in that position that may be at that meeting to speak for a few minutes on maybe why they feel they should be on the board, and then it would go to the vote. So that's kind of the timeline and at least what we were thinking as far as the recommended way.
Yeah, there's no statutory or charter time period for which you have to do it, but other governmental bodies is 60 days. So I think it's safe that as long as you do it within 60 days, you're pretty safe.
So, okay,
How do you go about letting the public know? How do you do that?
Yes.
You guys are the best advocates for letting people know that they can do that. I mean, of course, Charlie can put the word out too, but yeah, they just need to let Charlie know that they would like to be considered as a candidate and whether they want to speak at the next meeting.
Yeah.
I know, at the last meeting, we had a discussion with Jamie. He was telling us that his house was under contract and more likely to be moved.
Yep.
And, under that information, I had talked to a previous, individual that was on the board. And she did, express interest in coming back on the board and filling that vacancy. And, her name was Effie Lockwood, and, she was always very active on the board. That would be the individual I would like to look at, getting and maybe come and speaking at the next meeting and, hearing from her.
You know, all the ones that we have in mind that come and speak.
Absolutely.
At the next meeting in June.
I think, and that can be a board decision. I think what we probably recommend is if this kind of essentially gives you a month to go out and kind of gauge interest, we can put it on the website and you can go out and gauge interest. And, you know, have conversations with individuals that you'd be potentially working alongside, so that in June, when we open for nominations, those folks can be nominated and then have the opportunity to speak to the rest of the board.
So do they have to provide a letter to the town of why they feel like they're a good candidate?
That's again the board's
That's up to
decision.
the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to require that anybody interested submit a letter of intent or interest, that's totally fine. If you want to do an application, you can do an application. The city of Charlotte just had this happen in 2021, and they had 148 potential applicants, and they had an application process and everything like that. I don't think that's maybe necessary here, but whatever it is that you all want to do. I do want, as your attorney, I do want to very much caution you all that this is subject to public records, everything like that, and you cannot have meetings about it outside of here. It all has to be in the open, and it all is going to be public record. So just want to make sure that you all are aware of that.
I'd like to ask, where's these people been that's so interested in running for an empty seat now? Where have they been through all the other meetings? They ain't showed interest in town until an empty seat comes up. And bam, I want to be back on commissioner. You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's going on. At least Diane comes to every single meeting. So it changed this time. She has something to do. She's been to every single meeting, been involved in this town ever since she started in this town. And I think it's wrong for people to come up here and say, well, I want to fill the empty seat now that somebody's gone, but I ain't had time for the town the whole time. The whole 5 years I haven't been in or whatever. I think it's wrong. And that's my opinion.
I don't think it'll apply to Effie, because Effie's been on the board probably 20 years.
Where's Effie been in the last 5 years?
Well,
Where-
she was
where?
a commissioner. I
Where?
don't think she's been gone.
For the point she's been gone, that's what I'm saying.
I tell you
Where's she
what,
been?
I'll be like this, I'll make a motion
Let's
that
bring
bring
order,
Effie,
order here. It's not
You
part,
making a
not the
motion on
time.
that?
that we
He has
appoint,
a motion.
you got a motion, make a motion to bring Effie on board.
Make a motion to bring Effie on. Okay, do you, we have a second for that? Second, Mr. Morton? All in favor of bringing Effie Lockwood on board? Yeah. You voting for it? Alright, against? Only one against?
No,
You
two.
got two against? Oh, we have
I
a
wanna
tie.
ask the question.
No.
What happened to you telling me yes, Wade, that you was gonna support
No
Diane Palmer?
ways of free flop.
Alright,
I did not say
let's
that.
not be ugly.
You did say yes right in front of
Let's
her when
not
I asked
be,
you.
let's not be ugly.
Who's that?
No one, the people names is ugly, I think.
Who calls somebody?
You just call women people ugly.
I call you a flip flop.
Alright, let's move on with your little shindigs.
I'll break the tie and I'll vote for Effie if we come back on board. Alright, so. Effie Lockwood will be our next replacement for Jamie Fowler. Alright, next item, town manager
Town
report.
orders.
Yes, sir. So, you said town manager's report, is that where we were, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So, just want to give a quick update. Obviously, we had had a pretty nasty storm here last week. You know, we don't frequently see things like that. I just wanted to quickly say thank you to our police department and public works department who worked so diligently to try to get this town cleaned up as fast as we can. I want to also say thank you to Gaston County who came in and sent us a lot of extra resources when we need it. And I also want to say thank you to the city of Lowell. You know, manager over there, Mr. Attaway, and I, ever since I've started, he's been such an incredible support system, and it's nice, you know, that our two neighboring jurisdictions are getting along so well. So I just want to thank Lowell. Those guys were over here helping. We've been over there helping too, but you know, we're being very neighborly with Lowell, which I think is really, really great. So thank you to the city of Lowell for everything during that. We had the Carolina Thread Trail here. Their board of directors came up and had a meeting up at the lodge, which was awesome. I got to be a part of that and speak a little bit about Ranlo. So we had a good time doing that. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming, and they have a lot of cool marketing and different things that they're working on that are going to be really great for when the Carolina Thread Trail comes up here and calls Spencer Mountain home. It's going to be a really great thing. And then just a quick update on the Ranlo Avenue extension. I know that's something that we've been waiting on, what seems like for painfully a long time. But our engineers have sent it off to the state. Once the state comes back and says we're good to go, which we've got the word from them that it's not going to take a very long time, then we'll put it out for bid and we'll move forward as fast as we can. So we're still in good shape there. Obviously, we'd like to have been a little bit more ahead of it, but such is how it goes. But it's been submitted to the state, so once we get the approval, we'll move forward with that. And that's it for me, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you very much.
Let me see something about that you mentioned about the mansion. I'm going to go back to that one. 'Cause really, actually, I've been actually running for North Carolina State Senate. So that's one of the reasons why I had to do it. But the fact of the matter is that the final word on how that goes? You guys just make the final decision?
Just the final decision.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not a thing of, hey, you have had, I ran for this last position. And I think I would have been excellent. But the thing was, it's just that when the Democrats said, hey, I need you to run for another office, then I did. So that's what happened.
I know it's unfortunate that Jamie had to resign and move and everything.
But after seeing that display
Yeah,
that you guys did, that was really unprofessional, to be honest with
I agree.
you. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was unprofessional. It was unprofessional being
Very
not
unprofessional. And mine too, so I hope.
No,
We've done it this way in the past.
It's all good.
I'm good with it.
That's the way we choose to do it again now in the present, so. Next item would be the comments from the mayor. And I know we had a situation when the storm did come in, we didn't have a siren because it had been in malfunction due to a deep power surge that we had acquired. I did get y'all asked me to look at it as the mayor, and I do run an electrical company, so I did come and I got it repaired. However, it was after the storm, but during the storm, I understand we had a power outage here at the town hall, And, I don't think the generator that we have would not operate the three-phase, unit that we have on the, so it wouldn't work anyhow if I had it repaired, but it's operational now. And, I am, grateful for the way the community pulled together as a community during these crises. I know we had, horrible traffic situations, but the people worked through them, and, I didn't see that many people getting upset. They was patient about it, and, our fire department was awesome, and, working overtime to clear the roads. We actually, used the fire department as a command center. I thought you did a great job also, Charlie. And it was awesome. I think we all pulled together as a community, and we got, everything up and running again as quickly as possible. That's good. And we can't say enough about Duke Power for getting over here on us as quickly as possible also. It was a horrible situation, but it could have been worse. And I thank God that it wasn't worse. A couple days without power is not too bad. I mean, it's bad, but it wasn't too bad, right? But that's all I have. Any comments from the board?
I had lights.
Yeah.
I thought that's something to do with it. That's where you saw lights in my house.
Okay. So, any board members' comments? All right, next item would be closed session pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11.5. So I would like to entertain a motion to go into closed session. Have a motion? Have a second? Wait, okay, all in favor? So carried, you got everybody in favor, raise your hand, please. Okay, 3. Against? Have any against?
Commissioner Moore, I'm sorry, you have to vote one way or
I was
another.
concentrating on something.
Yeah.
I'm for moving.
All right, okay.
I don't think there's anything.
All right, so now we'll clear room for closed session.